That one kind of ticks me off.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We are here to give you some information on the communist state of Maryland's newest attempt at gun laws. A few things that we've won, a few things that we've not lost, but has been pushed off. Here with me today, I have Mr. Craig Montoya, who is Mr. Information himself. This guy shoots more than, he shoots more than anybody I know. Like, in the summertime, this dude's at the range like every single day. And I'm not exaggerating.
Can't waste that membership.
Yeah. Which, by the way, if you're a member at Waynesboro, it's due by the end of the month. And then we have Mr. Dusty Summers here, who's been shooting for a very long time and been loading shotgun shells like the world's going to end since he was about 12. So anyway, we're going to get into a few things. If you guys have any questions, drop it in the comments. We'll research it, get you an actual answer. Anyway, so let's get into this. So we were talking a little bit before the camera even turned on, and one of the things that we're talking about was the Maryland is going to attempt to make our guns similar to California, and that they're going to have to be California compliant. So, what does that mean? That means it cannot have a removable magazine. It cannot have a pistol grip, because a pistol grip apparently makes the gun shoot crazy. They say that it makes it shoot more accurate. Okay. Does that not mean safer? I mean, the people making this shit up are unreal. A flash hider, because that makes all the difference in the world. California.
So is that specifically listed flash hider?
Oh yeah.
It
is called. So if anybody wants to look at the link to one of the videos that I found when I was talking about this, the title of it is, and let me remind you, the guy talking in this video looks like he's straight out of some sort of looking for kids to put them in a van corner, dude. / like nerdy school. I don't know. Like, he just doesn't even look like he should be talking about guns. And I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but he's in California. And they titled it, How Gun Makers Tweak Rifles to Get Around Assault Weapon Bans. And they blame all the school shootings on it. And every time there's a school shooting, they do something else to tweak the law to punish everybody that's following the rules. So the next time I hear about somebody driving a car into a restaurant or something like that, I want a freaking ban on the car and the bumpers and the steering wheel.
And gasoline.
Dude, it's getting old. It really is, like, for real. So, like, they have everything highlighted blue here on the video, and we have the grip, the trigger, and the front of the barrel and the muzzle brake on both of them. And they're upset because Juggernaut come out with the system now where, well, let me go back a second. They had this button. So what the manufacturers did to get around the no removable mag, they said, okay, it cannot have a removable mag.
Bullet button thing.
The bullet button. So that was, about a decade they existed, something like that. So then this guy came out after a school shooting, and their reasoning here is they're trying to make it so that whoever the shooter is can't load more ammo quickly. So, okay, so he's got a second gun. I mean, come on, man. Like, people are so stupid. But anyway.
Or he's not using a Maryland compliant rifle to begin with.
Yeah, if he's out shooting a school, I highly doubt he's worried about whether or not he's got a compliant gun.
Little coat hanger bent up, jammed down in there, now it's full auto.
Yeah, like, it's just, they're so stupid. And that's what's frustrating about the people making these laws that know nothing about guns. That would be like me running a basket weaving class, and I determine who gets in and who doesn't. But what they're so up in arms about right now, have you seen that Juggernaut system where they were like, okay, they changed the law and they said, well, the gun has to be disassembled in order to put...
Oh, that's the thing that, like, partway pops the...
Yep. You can just pop the upper and then drop the mag out of it. Because this guy made the law you have to disassemble the gun in order to get the magazine out of it. So the manufacturers are like, okay, well, by popping the pins and lifting up, you are disassembling the gun. So they just keep tweaking the laws to get around these morons. And I mean, there's forever going to be a debate.
That's the one good thing That's kind of cool. That's the one good thing that came from that.
What's that?
Like the inventiveness of people trying to circumvent communist laws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like coming out with that juggernaut thing. That's kind of cool. But we shouldn't have to do that to begin with.
Well, this just came out about a week ago, and they keep the other thing that pisses me off. And in the video, they have a cardboard cutout of a Colt AR. It's not even an AR-15. That's an M16 from Vietnam. And they're like, oh, well, since it's illegal, we just have a cutout. Like, we don't have one. So we're going to compare it to the Juggernaut below here. And Juggernaut's based out of California, is the funny part. I deal with them all the time. Their stuff's awesome. It's amazing. The only lower receiver I can find, well, there's a little more on the market now, but it's like high-end aluminum, and the design is cool, and it's got ambi bolt release on both sides, and you have one.
Ain't that what my 9 is?
Oh yeah, you guys both have. Wait, I'm the only one that doesn't have
it.
one? What the hell?
Yeah, Juggernaut was awesome.
Yeah.
Time for
I didn't
me
know
to-
they were California based though.
Yeah, time for me to hop on it. Oh, that's what takes so long to get them. So anyway, this whole thing here, it just cracks me up, the things that they highlight and how upset they are that a magazine, that the gun can just be popped open to take a magazine out, and that's going to stop a school shooter, or that's going to change an entire situation. I mean, okay, the guy in freaking Los Angeles at the concert, he didn't have to change mags. The dude he freaking took 30 guns up there. Did you see that? 30 or 40 guns or something like that? He had a gas mask and remote video. I mean, that mag thing did nothing. Like,
Well, criminals are not,
Yeah, that's
abide by the law, period.
they're just using the criminals as an excuse to come after law-abiding citizens because they scare them.
But
The
going
guns
off
scare
this non-removable mag, did you watch any SHOT Show videos with that PR-57 from Keltec?
Yeah, I was just about to bring that
I
up.
don't like it. I think it's goofy as hell.
It's got
I
the
think
stripper
it's
clips
neat.
that you load in there.
Yeah,
but
I think it's neat. I don't know if I would buy one, but
I feel like it's more of a, not a gimmick, but like a, it reminds me of a freaking Pez dispenser. But like a novelty gun is what it reminds. I mean, in what situation would that make sense?
they're labeling this as a concealed carry option,
for
but
5.7.
I think it was Nightwood Guns on YouTube was there at SHOT Show. It malfunctioned. It took several minutes and 2 reps to clear it. So that's not a good option for concealed carry.
Well, there was something about, I vaguely remember somebody saying the reason they designed it was to get away from magazines.
That's
Why?
what I was gonna say. I wonder if some Democrat paid them some money to invent a unmag fed handgun so that we can start innovating and start producing more non-mag fed handguns to then make everyone go away from mag fed handguns.
But states that can only have that type of firearm. would
Yeah,
be-
it's cool, but
yeah.
it definitely makes you think maybe there's some backstory to it.
Yeah, there has to be something to it because it's goofy as shit in my opinion. Like I don't see a reason for it. Like,
What took so long to clear it?
Because it's all internal.
yeah, there's no.
So you have
It
to
wasn't
literally
like
sit
an
there
easy
and-
fix. I don't
to
know
get
if
every
you have
round
to
out?
have I don't know if there's a tool that you got to push to eject all the rounds out of it.
Like
I have
your
no
M1?
idea, but yeah, there was a malfunction at SHOT Show, so it didn't go so well.
That'd be cool. Can't the M1s? Don't you just push a button on them and all the rounds swing out?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's not designed like that. That'd be cool.
He didn't show the actual clearing of the malfunction. He just said that it took several minutes and a couple reps to get it done.
And it is 9mm, right?
No,
No, it's
5.7.
Oh, it's 5.7.
It's like a compact concealed
I wonder-
carry 5.7.
I wonder if the whole reason for it is they couldn't get a big, the mag would have been too big to feed the 5.7, and that's why maybe that has something to do with it.
I don't know. I'd
Keltec,
like
why did you design
to-
something goofier than shit?
It's cool.
It's cool, but like goofy. Like, what is the reasoning? Because we can't get a straight answer. I've seen like 3 or 4 videos on it, and they're talking about it at SHOT Show, but they don't say why they did it.
What's that other one that came out? That the barrel's real low. See that one?
Chiappa?
The barrel's real low and the slide's like split.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Like if you
Are you
rack it
talking
off the
about-
optic, the entire slide moves. But if you rack it like you normally do, like just the bottom, the sides of the slide move.
That's it. Is it the Remus?
I don't know. I saw it, and that one I immediately thought that's gonna malfunction. That's gonna kill someone. And I don't want nothing to do with it. And scroll past the video.
Because they had a compact version of that this year. It was touted prior to SHOT Show, but that gun is retailing for like $6K.
What?
Yeah, because the other one was what, $5K?
I like the idea of how low they had the barrel. Like they had the barrel where the recoil spring is.
Comes
like
into your
19.
palm. Yeah.
But and then I guess the recoil spring is on top. But the whole weird way that the slide like racked in two different ways was goofy. Like if you
Yeah.
grabbed it off the front of the optic, the entire slide like regular pistol moved. But if you grabbed it like you're supposed to, only like the sides of it moved.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Speaking of goofball guns, one that I kind of thought this gun was cool, but I have yet to figure out a valid reason. I've come up with a couple theories, but those Beretta Tomcats, where the barrel tips up, have you seen those?
Like the little break open things.
Okay, so no, it has a mag, and you can rack it like you normally would, but then the barrel also tips up. Why?
Well, I think that was designed back in the day for people that had arthritic conditions and
But you still
stuff
have
like
to
that.
rack
It
the
was
slide.
just a tilt barrel. No, I don't think you have to rack the
Oh
slide.
no, the Tomcat that I'm talking. Oh, I see what you're saying.
The
so
barrel
yeah,
tilts
the
up.
first
You load
round.
that round. Put
There
your
you have
magazine
it. Yep.
in.
Boom. Gotcha. All
That
right.
makes sense.
Now that makes sense. All right. That's actually cool.
So you preload the first round like a break open shotgun.
And there's no there's
and
no
then
rack
you
in it.
insert a mag,
Yeah.
and it just goes to town.
Okay.
So people that don't have the
All right.
fingers-
Now I need to get more of those in stock because now I love it. See that
Yeah.
little thing right there just made all the difference in the
that's-
world.
that's
that
kinda
stupid
cool.
little thing. Yeah.
But
I
that,
like that.
that pistol you were talking
But
about,
you can
is
still
the,
rack it.
Yeah.
Lago Arms Alien. But they did the Remus, I think, this year, and that thing's got a price tag that's showing $6K. And I've shot the Alien, and that is a pretty sweet shooting gun.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Leonard's.
Yeah,
So
So
thing I'm gonna look at, man, it is.
these guns that they
that
are.
low bore axis really makes it like
Well,
you can fire fast.
That's why I like Chiappas, the Rhinos. I will eventually have one of those. I mean, putting the recoil like down low right into the palm. I mean, the amount of control that you gain from that without having to do a bunch of porting. I mean, I guess you still got to port a little bit, but I feel like it would flip up a whole lot less. I've never shot one, but I really want to.
So the Remus is the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that thing's just like only this part moves, unless you come off the optic plate. It's got like a little. Didn't it have like a little
Logo arms,
like
Remus.
flip out thing or whatever on the side, like
If
an
you hit the
MP5 or
lottery.
whatever, or not MP5, like a Vector.
I don't know.
I
if
think
it
that
has
thing
the-
moved on the new one. I think. Oh, this little button or something. You had to detent that if you were coming from the optic, or
Why are they making things so
Because
complicated?
you can change it to optic, or you can change it to the irons.
well, there's like a slide right in front of the optic.
What do you mean? You got to select between your optic and
I
iron
think
sights?
I'm pretty sure they send you a whole like
Oh yeah, look at it.
case that has all of the stuff in it. That's why it's so expensive.
Where's
But
the case picture?
that top on the
Yeah.
original
Little
Alien is
holster.
non-reciprocating,
Come on.
so that dot doesn't move.
It comes with two.
Just the side of the.
So they're
firearms
doing
move
that
back
to
and
try
forth.
to. Okay.
and it comes with like two like top plates to the slide.
Okay, I get it. So you know how some people are putting those really weird bridges, like a bridge on like a chassis gun, but they put the bridge on the competition pistol, like
yeah,
the
like the Glocks
22s.
and stuff.
So I
yeah.
guess that's just like a permanent version
so
of
here
one of
it is.
those. Yeah.
So like that's your iron sight slide, and then
$6,250.
Yep.
So if you hit the lottery, or you get a rich girlfriend, and you just want to blow money for the heck of it,
and you want a gun that's got 700 extra moving parts
Yep.
for absolutely zero reason, go for it.
otherwise get an Apollo. That's what I just got. I love it. It was an accident. That comes in a full size and a compact. That was a SHOT Show. You were talking about
Well,
10
yeah,
mil?
that's where they introduced the Apollo 10.
And that's going to be the 10 mil version
Yeah.
of it. Yeah, we have those on the wish list. They've not quite released yet. We also got the new Kember 2K11 sent in today. Forgot to tell you that. Sorry.
Like it showed up.
No, but it will be. Put it.
I was gonna say.
Selected it today, buddy.
We're gonna throw some gloves on, throw hands if it showed up today. And I
Nope,
didn't know about
did
it.
not. So one of the other things that I brought as a surprise. Dun, da, da. Brand new.
Nice.
Reamer and headspace gauge, 338 Lapua. So we'll get that project going. So I just got my Reamer, was it 3-4 days ago for a 338 arc. So we're going to be making one of those this week, finishing up the 500 Jeffrey, and then we're balling out with it. So for those of you that
interest?
338 arc, oh yeah.
Yeah. What's all the points of that? Isn't that a new round?
All right, so they spent 4 or 5 years developing this round. Hornady did, and the round shoots just as good unsuppressed as it does suppressed. It's a very balanced round. Very, what's the word you want to use for that? I don't know. It's not temperamental based
Like
on
5.56.
yeah, like some rounds, if you try to shoot it unsuppressed versus suppressed with the same settings, the gun won't function, whereas this round does. It's a 338 Lapua bullet with a 6mm arc casing that's cut down a little bit. It looks like it shouldn't even work.
Chassis.
Yeah, so unlike the 8.6 Blackout, which was designed for the AR-10 chassis, this was designed for the AR-15 platform. But it's just as comfortable in a bolt action. It's got 1.5 times the energy of the 300 Blackout. It's the quietest round developed to date, suppressed or unsuppressed. It's pretty inexpensive. I mean, we're selling the rounds in the store for, I want to say it's about $38-$39 a box, and then if you reload or keep your brass, it cuts down on that expense. But yeah, I mean it's an amazing round.
What do I need? Just a barrel
for
and a bolt
your AR.
Uh-huh.
The safest bet would be just to do a whole upper, which isn't expensive. You just need the upper receiver, the handguard, the barrel, and the bolt, and then you can just swap it over to whatever lower you have. You don't have to get an entirely different gun. I tell everybody, like when they're doing these AR builds, because I get so many people come in and ask about that. I've just had this conversation with a gentleman the other day, and he's like, "Oh, well, this is my budget. What should I concentrate on? Where should I put the money?" And I tell everybody the same thing: the lower receiver and the trigger. That's where you put your money. You don't need to invest starting out $100 and some sort of titanium takedown pins and a fancy drop lever. Like if you get yourself like a Juggernaut, I know I say that wrong. Everybody picks on me about it all the time, but the Juggernaut, it's fairly inexpensive for what it is, and it works for right-handed or left-handed people because you get the ambi bolt release, and then invest in a nice trigger, $150 in a trigger. Boom! Now you got 10 guns in one.
8.5, a little short on barrel.
I believe it was designed for a 12 and a 16-inch barrel. That's what's readily available now. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Short for four-legged targets.
But the fact, what's crazy about it is that it's got 1.5 times the energy of a 300 Blackout, but it's way, way quieter. So it's pretty nuts.
So it's still a four-legged round.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. All day long.
I need one.
That's what we hear every time somebody sees it. We have the rounds in the store.
I guess the advantage is you wouldn't need an adjustable gas block if that was true.
Yeah. We'll find out. I mean, we're going to get one put together.
Blackouts run
later
good
next
without
week.
Adjustable. 300 Blackout runs pretty good without adjustable.
I don't know. Yours was awfully temperamental.
I think
It
it
throws
depends
them
on
back
the actual
further.
suppressor that you're putting on it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's something else. Like everybody's designing these flow-through suppressors now so that you don't have gas coming back at you as much and to keep the gun cleaner. But I don't understand why somebody would spend probably the most ridiculous as far as that goes with their flow through silencer. Is it Silencer Co? No. Who's got the big military contract?
Well, no, Surefire has.
Surefire. That's it.
And you also
$1,600
There's another
MSRP
one
on their
King.
5.56 flow through, and it's because they have a military contract and they can. That's it. There's so many other suppressors on the market that
I was gonna say most of them are all titanium. They're all. I mean, there's really not much you can do.
it depends on what kind of shooting you do as far as that goes. I'm not a fan of titanium. If you're just shooting every now and then, it's okay. But if you're going to be using it all the time, titanium
I
will
think
break
they're
down.
trying to get away from that. Most of SHOT Show was
Inconel.
it was the Inconel, but it had a number. Was it 416? Something like that.
Well, that would be stainless.
I don't know. It's
416.
basically an aerospace grade, and that's what they're using.
The one that just came in the store that Skylar was test firing today, that is Inconel and I believe Cobalt is what that one is. And it's pretty wild because it's got like a diversion chamber before it even gets to the baffles. And then we had another company that we were going to be a dealer for that was all carbon fiber. I mean, the baffles were titanium and Inconel, and the outside was carbon fiber. And I got all set up with them, placed the order, and then when it come time to pay them, they wanted me to wire the money. Wire it or use Zelle. And I was like, yeah, nah, we're good. But I thought they were legit because he was like giving me a hard time about my SOT not being able to read it or whatever. So I was like, all right, so it's like kind of legit, but I'm not wiring money. That's just
Huxworks was the other one that was big.
they're expensive, but they're also well, they're not as expensive. But yeah, they have a good flow through design. He's got two suppressors been sitting in the shop for about 8 months that he's yet to come pick up.
8 months.
Has it been longer now?
I think so.
Because I think the best value for the money by far over anybody right now is Rugged.
I'm hoping that this Hearing Protection Act stuff goes through and I don't have to pay the $200.
Is that what
Yes.
you're waiting on?
I'm cheap.
I'm gonna start
All
charging
there,
you
but you
rent
haven't
in a
even
safe.
started your form for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got two of them in there. They've been there, I guess, over a year. And that's
You
you
own
got
them
what, a
all,
dead
though,
air and a
right?
Rugged.
Yeah, I got a Dead Air Sandman and a Rugged for the 5.56. But
You know, we just and the one I just got that Skylar's running, we got it for the shop as a test suppressor. Test suppressor for the shop. R&D, but that is the Yankee Hill, and they're fairly inexpensive. I mean, that's a
pretty good.
338 suppressor for $800. That's pretty awesome. And I mean, you saw how quiet it was on video today when he was showing us that video. But so the company I was talking about, one of the other cool features they had on there, which I feel like you could probably do to just about any of them, is they've got this rubber like wiper on the front. And when I was talking to him on the phone about it, he said that the ATF was arguing with them about why that was illegal. So they were taking them off and just shipping them with the suppressor, and the customer could put them on there if they want. They ended up going back and forth, and I think he said they ended up winning. But a piece of rubber on the front, what it does is it gets rid of that,
The first round pop.
yeah. Which I don't quite understand how that works either, because the first round pop is all of the oxygen being consumed in the suppressor, which causes the pop. But either way, isn't there going to be oxygen in there, whether that rubber cap is over it or not?
Yeah. I always
So-
kind of was confused by that. I think that's more for like
A
quicker
gimmick?
firing. No, I think the quicker you shoot, there is a noticeable. If you're shooting every half a second, there is a noticeable difference from the first round to the second round.
Oh, okay.
But if it's like, I don't know when you would be sending multiple rounds while hunting, but if you're hunting and you're 30, 40 seconds between rounds, I don't think there's a difference. Or when you change the mag. But they've been doing something like that for a while. They got them little ones for like 9mm handguns for carrying. That's like some type of rubber. You got to rebuild them like every 50
Oh, I
rounds.
did see those. Yeah.
But it's to not have first round pop, and it's to get them compact so they're comfortable to carry, but you still have a silencer.
Yeah, so the guy that was partners, the two guys that started Gemtech,
Yeah, it's Gemtech, I'm pretty sure.
we talked to him last year up at the,
Yeah.
not SHOT Show, but it's going on right now, as a matter of fact. We're going up Wednesday to the Great American Outdoor Show. And we talked to this guy up there. I actually got a suppressor from him. And it was okay. It was nice, but it felt kind of chintzy. It was just a 22 one. But anyway, so what he's talking about is it's like this, you put it on your keychain and you could screw it on your gun and you'd get so like those targets that self-healing. I think that's basically what
I think
was,
that's,
right?
yeah, it's like that self-healing rubber.
But I find it very hard to believe that does not affect the performance of the round.
I'm sure it does, but at 7 yards, does it matter?
No, not at 7 yards, but you're not supposed to be using the suppressor for self-defense anyway.
Why not?
Well, yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
You're
I
going to
care
have a
about my
suppressor.
If I
Okay,
if I
in
get
your
my
bedroom
suppressor
or
and
something.
I'm in my house, I'm using it.
Oh no, that I get. But on a carry gun,
Yeah, my bedside's got a full camera.
and then technically, if it's on your carry gun,
You're gonna
and
lose
you're
it.
going to Best Buy in West Virginia, yeah, you lose it. Now you got a nightmare. But you've got to notify that you're going over state lines with.
That's
and
why
I-
I was told when I went to do the paperwork for the trust that it wasn't a required on suppressors.
Just
like
the SBR
SBRs.
rifles. Yeah. So it's like, who makes that freaking law? Who says, oh, well, if Dusty takes his gun that's 1 inch shorter than a 16 inch to his parents in Pennsylvania, we need to know about it. Why? What the fuck does that do? Like, seriously?
Yeah,
These people are a joke, man.
there's
They
a lot of
really
stuff
are.
that needs changed.
Well, we can hope that things get reformed. Do we even have a candidate for that ATF
No.
director yet?
No.
What's going on there? Well, we get a new
Oh,
one
Trump
because
told
Trump's-
him at one point he wanted him
Dettelbach
gone
resigned
before. Did he
before-
resign?
Yeah, he resigned prior
Officially?
to Trump coming in. 'Cause
Okay.
Trump was going to fire him.
Yeah, Trump told him that he had till the day he got in there to pack his bags. If not, he was going to get rid of him as soon as he got there. Okay, now this guy. Did you watch the videos with this guy?
No.
Go ahead. You know more about this guy than I do. About the pistol brace thing?
Well,
is he the one that went back and forth like 6 times over 2 years?
Oh no, this is the guy that said the pistol brace made the gun shoot faster and
Ahead of the
more
game.
powerful. He used more powerful as the term.
well,
Are you
they're going
serious?
to lie to promote their agenda.
I have, yeah.
I mean that's like you could take clips
Yeah,
of
but-
Biden
but-
saying they'll
but-
blow your lung out.
If you're not a doctor, right, or you're not a lawyer, right, you go to jail for practicing that.
Right.
You know, so like if I'm not a doctor and I say you got ADHD and you start buying Adderall, I can go to jail for that. So why can you make stipulations, right, on guns and all this stuff if you have zero clue what the fuck you're talking about?
Isn't that fear mongering? Is that what they call that?
Well, no, thank God we got groups like Gun Owners of America and Firearms Policy Coalition and Second Amendment Foundation, and all those groups that are filing lawsuits to help protect us. But I mean, you saw the ATF expert trying to break down the Glock, right?
Oh yeah,
ATF
yeah,
expert.
yeah,
Last year,
yeah,
Seriously?
couldn't take
Expert.
the Glock down very well.
yeah.
Arguably the easiest, most
Common gun.
common, most. It's been the same way for what,
Yeah.
30 years
Yeah,
now?
and it's
40
kinda like-
years?
It's kind of like what were the guys calling the lady that couldn't holster the agent that couldn't holster her
the
gun when they
Secret
shot
Service
Trump?
agent. Yeah, I don't,
Yeah, but
I
they had
don't
a funny
understand
name
that,
for her. But yeah, like I mean, this is crazy. It goes beyond the whole DEI thing. But
I mean, that goes back to where they say practice is king, like muscle memory. Like, I mean, I've never been in that scenario to know, oh, I'm going to tremble getting back in the holster. But I've holstered and unholstered millions of times. It just becomes muscle memory at that point.
yeah, I mean, who?
I think anybody in the Secret Service like that. They should have enough.
How are these
training
people
that it's
chosen
muscle
for these
memory.
I was
positions?
under the impression that she was not a Secret Service agent. She was Homeland who received a webinar to go on that detail.
No way.
Yeah.
Why are they even doing that?
I wish
Wasn't
we
she
knew
like
if that
right
was a
on the
fact.
stage with Trump?
What? Yeah, she was up there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not far from him. But and then the funniest part, what really took me over the edge, is after she was trying to do that, they were more worried about putting their sunglasses on than they were about getting him the hell out of there and going after the person that did it. That whole situation just showed me how set up and how corrupt our government is.
Well, no, look what they did to Trump. I mean, giving him like the B and C team,
yeah.
like with credible threats from Iran on him. So
Well, and the
and I don't
cops,
blame that. I don't blame that agent for the holstering because she probably doesn't go to the range very often or practice very often. I mean, she should. It's her job. She should be good at it. But yeah, she wasn't Secret Service, is what I was under the impression. It came out she was a Homeland agent. I have more issue with them flagging everybody in the crowd around that vehicle.
Oh yeah.
You know, that wasn't cool. They should have been in a low or high ready.
Well, the police apparently and people in the crowd were telling them that there was somebody up there, right? And they just
Yeah.
didn't even respond. Like, there was something fishy about that whole situation. Like the whole way around, there was something fishy about it. But yeah, going back to your question about candidates for ATF director, are there any? Do you know of any?
You know, I keep hearing Brandon Herrera, and I can't remember the other guy's name that's like the top contender. I keep hearing his name all the time, but I haven't heard anybody actually being picked for that yet.
Hopefully, it's not a Democrat.
It just needs abolished. The ATF just needs abolished.
Yeah, see, like right here. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what Brandon Herrera wants to do. He wants to come in and just destroy it from the inside out.
I don't think he wants to come in. He put a video out not too long ago. I don't think he wants to come in and destroy it. I think he wants to come in and make a bunch of changes and eventually phase it out.
ATF should be there to help you with things or guide you, not. And that's what pisses me off about our government is, you know, like Ronald Reagan said back in the 80s that, you know, the government works for us. Like, we don't work for them. So the fact that they tell us what to do and can do and can't do and this and that, it's gotten completely out of whack with how things are supposed to be. And the ATF should be there to help us. Okay, I can see with the FBI doing a background check, someone's not supposed to have a gun. You know, like if you got someone crazy that's completely whacked out and out there, or they're a criminal that's robbed 2 banks, obviously that person shouldn't have a gun. So there has to be some sort of system in place to prevent that. But what somebody does for their job should have no freaking bearing on whether or not you can get a carry permit. Like, that's freaking insane to me. That's the kind of shit that's going on now. You know, I have customers all the time that, you know, they flip out when they hear these things because they use the FFLs as the front line for their bullshit. But in a sense, when you take everything and put it in a nutshell, some of these older guys that are in their 80s and 90s that don't know how to use a computer, the ATF is saying, the state of Maryland is saying, if you don't know how to use a computer, you can't buy a gun. Because there is no other way of doing it. I mean, yeah, I mean, you can still do it on paper at the store, and it can be called in, but the process takes forever, and not many stores are still doing that. But the state of Maryland, is there any of it that's not done through the app and the portal?
I think everything goes through the portal.
Yeah, and the people that run that, don't get me wrong, there's one lady there that, you know, she kind of oversees the computer part of it and everybody else, and, you know, keep things going, and she's pretty amazing at what she does. But the people that are actually in charge of the laws and enforcing this stuff and the shit that they come up with, like, you can tell they don't know anything about guns. There's 2 main guys there that go out and visit and manage and blah blah blah. And like when we had signed a gun out one time that we were Cerakoting, and the gun stayed there. It didn't leave, but it made it look like we released it a day early. Boy, they were up there the very next day. And he said, oh, you know, it'll be $1,000 fine next time, blah, 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 and this and that. And I'm like, okay. You know, you're looking at the paperwork. You know, the gun didn't leave for another 4 or 5 days after the 7th day. But we had just signed it out to put it in as a repair so that we could Cerakote it. And that just flipped things out down there at the state.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's the issues they're worried about and that they come at us about. Little stupid things like that. And I get it. A lot of stupid things could be a bad thing. But hey, what happened here would have sufficed, or an email, not to the extent they did. They'll do all that dumb little bullshit, but however, there is not one thing in place that if you come in and sell me your gun, I have no way to look that gun up to see if it's stolen as an FFL.
Really?
No, there's no way. Don't you think that should be the most basic freaking thing that a gun store should have access to?
Something that just got in trouble for that?
It happens every day.
Selling a stolen gun or something? Or
well, they can't get in trouble for it, but they lose the gun, they lose the money, and they got to deal with the hassle and the time. But so they'll come at us, like I'm saying, you know, the HQL thing, which by the way is staying, but the bullshit thing with that is I have to see your HQL letter or your card. They're not doing cards anymore. They send an email, but the store has to see that. And so again, somebody filled something out wrong, and they called me up. They're like, "Well, didn't you see it when they did?" I'm like, "They did the 77R at home, which is perfectly legal. I got people that do 4 or 5 of them for the whole year, so that they're ready when they need them." And he's like, "Well, you need to see their HQL." Why do I need to see it? I have no way.
It's taking a week to run it.
Yeah, I have no way. I literally have no way of looking up that HQL to see if it's valid or not. So what in the F does it matter if I see the HQL? Like, these are the laws I'm talking about that piss me off.
If it's not valid, then they shouldn't be approving it.
Right, exactly. That's what I mean. They're going to catch it. But it's like they get pissed off because it comes in and it's not valid and they got to send it back to me, and they get upset that they have to do that. And it's like, wait a minute. You know, I don't have access.
Check it.
No. I have no way of checking it.
Yeah.
They just want me to see the letter or the email.
The easiest crime is right here on Adobe or whatever it is, and you just type up an HQL and enter a number, and boom.
My point exactly.
So why do you have
and
to
then they submit it, and it doesn't go through anyway because then they see it's not valid. So why in the fuck does it matter if I see their HQL?
Like, I still have the card. I understand you happen to see the card. That's a government state-issued ID, basically.
Which they don't do anymore.
It's just an email. So who's the... Here, I got it.
Yeah. So my point is, they get so out of sort about things like that, but yet they can't put me in place in any way, shape, or form to have access to look up a gun to see if it's been stolen. And then, if you have a problem with your HQL, well, the 2 ladies that work there, they will make you want to go out and jump off of a bridge. Like, they are the meanest people, the most helpless people on the face of the planet. I'd rather go to the MVA and sit there for 40 hours than to talk to these 2 for 2 minutes. Like, the way they talk to my customers on the phone, especially like my elderly customers, it is unbelievable. And you can tell they're in Baltimore, and they're so nasty with them, and there is no help. Oh, well, you got to do that online. I can't help you there. I can't do that. I can't. It's just, I can't. Well, what the hell are you there for then? Like, somebody's submitting an HQL, and it's taken them 30 to 60 days to get their HQL back to them. Why? Like, why is that? What the hell are you doing that it's taken that long?
To initially.
But yet, if they get their carry, and we put that they're exempt or whatever, they still make the customer go through all the BS. They got to create an HQL account, still fill everything out, just to select a drop down that says they're exempt because they got their carry. They just took their carry class, and the fingerprints for that and the background and everything else far supersedes what you need for an HQL. So the HQL at that point is invalid, like it's worthless. But yet they still make them create an account and waste all the time and wait 1 to 7 days for them to accept that or to approve that. For what? That's the shit that I'm talking about. Yeah. So it really doesn't make sense.
And it basically is keeping the less fortunate or poorer portion of the population from owning a firearm for self-defense, and they typically live in the more dangerous areas. So they're basically keeping poor people from having guns because you got to pay all that money.
And what the state, what the dumbasses don't understand what they're doing. Wes Moore, you were one of them, you idiot. What they don't understand, they're making criminals because these people try to do everything the legal way, but our state makes it so difficult. But yet they make it so easy for criminals to get out of jail, get out of prison, and we can rehabilitate him. He's only stolen 4 cars.
Go out on another crime spree.
Yeah. And I mean, I think deep down there's some reason that they do that. I think certain portions of the state, they want it to burn down, and I think that's why they do that. But to tell somebody who has lived for 60, 70, 80 years, been in Vietnam, World War II, whatever, if you don't know how to use a computer, you can't buy a gun. That is the most fucked up thing on the face of the planet. You're not allowed to defend yourself or use your constitutional rights because you don't know how to use a computer. That's what they tell them. Like, that's what it all boils down to. Because there is no way of doing it over the phone. And when we were doing the classes, one of the reasons at one point I was like, all right, I might have to rethink these, is first of all, nobody listens to you when you're talking about what you have to do, blah, 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 blah. And so they're like, when you teach class, it's got to be 16 hours and they got to, part of that, they have to go shoot range and all that. And then they got to go home and fight with the internet. And if you're not computer savvy, it might take freaking 3 hours to do all your application, do all the crap they make you do. So I was like, okay, well, they got to be here for 16 hours. And they've got to learn blah, 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 blah. State has now given us an outline of everything we got to teach. And I'm like, that's fine. In reality, this entire class could be taught in 2 or 3 hours with common sense. But they do the 16 hours because of what you said. They don't want people to be able to get it easily. So I started using the last class, part of that, to help them do their paperwork, navigate the website, if they have to do this, this, and this, so they know how to do it. They'll still come back even after you show them all that because it is freaking complicated as hell. But my point is, I'm so sick of the state making law-abiding citizens work so hard to practice their rights, but they make it so easy for welfare and for people that break the law to do what they do.
Do you want to get more depressed?
What's that?
I don't know if you're aware, it was probably a couple weeks ago. The case that the Maryland appellate court in the 4th District had a decision 14-2, I believe, for that HQL. You know how we won at first? It got appealed, and then it went a decision 14-2 that said that the HQL was constitutional. So it went to the Supreme Court, and they declined to hear the case. So that's done. HQL it is.
If there's anything I'm willing to give up to get other things to go through, the HQL would be one of them. I mean, I know you feel strongly about it, but
less, people that don't have a lot of money.
But you know what though? If somebody truly has a financial problem with that, and I hope all of you are listening to this, if there is truly an issue and somebody were to come to me, Chris, I got this, and this, blah, 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 but I really need a gun so that I can protect my family because of this, and this, dude, I'm going to do whatever I can to help them. I have done it.
But it's still $200 to $300 to go through that process.
For the carry, but not the HQL.
The HQL is probably $100 for the class, right? How much for the fingerprints?
50, 60
for HQL it's only 54. But I had a lady that was getting beaten by her husband. She was going through a separation.
You do fingerprints for HQL too, don't you?
I'm sorry?
Yeah. You do fingerprints for HQL too.
Yeah. Yep.
So
yeah, but it's like $8 cheaper for HQL, but
why?
I don't know. Because the background's not as far. Like it's not in depth as much as the carry background.
It's the same damn
You
finger.
can't make this shit up. Like that's what's on the website. I swear.
So the fingerprint place charges $8 less?
Yeah, $8 or $9, something like that. I think it is. It's like 62 for the carry and 50 couple for the
Might as
HQL.
well just get your carry and get them all.
Yeah,
Right, but I'm
you
saying,
should,
going
but
back to
like-
what you're saying, though, the HQL is, it's 8 hours instead of the 16. They still got to shoot and qualify. They still got to
What's the
get
class?
fingerprints. 125. But if somebody was like truly in a bad situation, now you got to ask yourself, okay, if you're having all the, do you already have a gun? Because now you got to buy a gun. But so I see what you're saying with that. But if somebody truly had an issue, I would help them out. I had like this guy asshole beating up on his wife, and she's going through this separation, yada yada yada, and we helped her out. And if I gotta do payments or whatever to help them out, like we'll get them through it. We'll get them to class. Class isn't the problem. Nothing I can do about the fingerprints.
Still not right.
No, it's not. I agree, but if I had to give something up,
What if that abuser came back and
Within 7
then the
days.
state should be sued.
Within 7 days.
The state should be sued if that woman
because
or
we had
that
to go
guy.
through a process to get a permission slip
Exactly.
to buy a handgun
And
as part of your.
There should and it is it's unconstitutional, black and white. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. So if somebody were to get beat up or abused or murdered, yada yada yada, and somebody proves, hey, they tried to get a gun to protect themselves, and the state wouldn't let them, and they didn't have a
Not
felony.
wouldn't let them. They were in their 7-day waiting or their 30-day waiting for their permit to buy one.
Right. Then absolutely, states should be held accountable 100%. I don't see how they couldn't be. I mean, honestly.
That's the biggest problem I have with it. It's the 7-day bullshit. And every time I buy a handgun, it more pisses you off. Every next handgun, it even more pisses you off.
I'm going to be devil's advocate. If it's your very first gun and you've never bought a gun, okay, 7-day wait.
If you're 45. If you're 21, you had to wait till you were legally allowed, and you're doing everything. You're doing all these other 75 fucking hoops you got to jump through. You shouldn't have to wait 7
But if
days.
I have 20 guns at home, why in the hell should I have a 7-day wait? If I'm
Exactly.
going to go do something nefarious, I'm going to use one of the other 20. And that's what I'm talking about. These people that run this state are the biggest fucking morons on the face of the planet. They truly are.
I mean, every handgun I've bought since my first handgun, I have bought while carrying a handgun on my person. Yet I have to wait 7 days to get the one I'm buying.
Yeah, there is no sense to it whatsoever. And you can't tell me, oh, well, we don't have a way to see if they had other guns if they were, a current owner. Get the hell out of here.
Because you
with
got to
that.
go on their fancy website
Yeah.
and it lists all your previous 77Rs.
So somebody please tell me, somebody that's already a gun owner that has guns, please tell me one valid reason for the 7-day wait. One valid reason. If they've already got guns at home. Now they might come back and say, oh, it's so that we can do a background to see if maybe they had something pending so they couldn't have that gun.
Wasn't that
It'll be
was,
something
that
stupid
was already
like that they'll
changed.
bring up.
So that they can't bring that up anymore.
Oh yeah,
that
yep,
was the Supreme
that
Court
got
ruling.
changed. Yeah, Texas.
Innocent until proven fucking guilty.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's the people that run the liberals that run the gun laws and what we can or can't do as a free citizen. They're so far out in left field that they're not even in reality anymore.
It's like I was saying the other day. Why are there multiple classes of citizens? Why am I a second-class citizen just because I have a little bit of money, but I live in Maryland? And then you get someone else that can't afford the class. Why are they a peasant or a third-class citizen because they don't have any money and they live in Maryland?
Yeah. Yep.
Like, why are my rights different just because of how much money I have or the state that I live in?
So with you own land in West Virginia. You've got, 60 acres? 40 acres?
Doesn't
even matter.
Now.
So where is the ruling there? What is the law with you owning land there? Why would you not fall under West Virginia and be able to utilize your West
Because
Virginia
I'm
rights?
a Maryland resident. I live here.
Yeah.
But if you
got
have
to
land in
actually
another
live
state, can't you have
there. You can
those?
claim you can claim it, but there's still got
I
to be a
can't even
primary
hunt
one.
on the land in West Virginia if that makes any sense without a license.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's it. Don't even get me going on
You have
that.
to have a hunting license, and
my own property.
But if you
On
own the
property.
land there and you claim your citizenship in West Virginia,
then you can buy them there and transport them back and forth.
okay, but you're not allowed to buy
It's
one in
just
Maryland
a
then?
4473 and you're done.
Handgun.
In and out.
Walk
And-
in.
No, I get that, but would you be allowed to live in Maryland and do that?
Yes.
So why don't you do that? I would do that in a minute.
You have dual. You're allowed to pull them back and forth, but you have to have a primary residence. You have to pick one state to have primary residence.
So why would you not do primary as West Virginia?
Well, first off, I don't have a home or anything on that property. It's just
Well, there is. It's just falling down.
But you can do that. That's what Mom does.
Okay.
and I am not sure about the legalities. of it.
So I
Well,
need
she
to
is,
see. I'm
'cause
going to
they
see.
showed up at her place of business and disarmed her.
Oh, yeah.
And took her guns.
Listen to this.
And USCCA had a letter wrote up and sent to the sheriff and said, "You will relinquish these, or we are going to court, and we are going to sue the shit out of you," because they wouldn't give them back with a North Carolina license and North Carolina residence and dual property ownership or dual residency. They would not give them back unless she went through everything, got a HQL not a carry permit, but an HQL, and did a 77R, and then they were going to transport them to an FFL of her choice in Maryland to do a 7-day waiting period for a gun that she already legally bought and owned as a North Carolina resident at a North Carolina gun store.
And these are two people that have owned a business in this area for 20, 30 years.
30 years, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I think the landscape's going to change here over the next several years, anyway. But back
Landscape as far as what?
concealed carry,
Hmm.
because we don't have anything for constitutional carry nationwide, which is probably what we should be going for. But we're doing that concealed carry reciprocity. So now you've got basically back to what Dusty was saying before. You have different groups of people now. So somebody in Maryland, California, New York, New Jersey, places that have all these stupid restrictions, Colorado, Illinois, the list goes on and on. Well, constitutional carry people don't have to have anything. So if that bill goes through, they're going to be able to carry in New York, California.
Well, I think the way they wrote it up, they'll have to get their home state permit. Like West Virginia, you don't need a permit at all. But if that bill goes through to carry in Maryland, they'll have to get a West Virginia concealed carry permit. I think it's the way.
Wait a
it's wrote
minute.
up.
So if I live in West Virginia,
So you have
and
to
that
still
bill
get
goes
your home state permit. So yes,
so what if
I'll
West
be able
Virginia
to carry
doesn't
in New
require
York.
one?
I don't
I think that the
that's
way they're writing it
required.
up, you still have to get one.
It's only 6 pages, I believe, but they're
I think that's the way it was wrote up when he talked about it, whatever that was, 9-10 years ago. He said he was going to put it in. I did read it back then, and that's the way.
well.
it was
This I'm
worded.
talking about the one that's like pending right
So maybe
now.
they changed it, but how? So now we still have two classes of citizens,
Right,
Because
exactly.
I still have to have a permit in Maryland.
So, and I think it goes even deeper than that. I don't think there's going to be a restriction. You know how New Jersey can't have hollow points. There's
Can't have silencers
there's going to
either.
be no mag
Jersey or New
restrictions either. So somebody could go into a state that's got a 10-round magazine restriction on their citizenry, but they could
Yeah.
carry a 15
That-
round.
I think we'll still lose that. We might win the carry thing, but I don't. That might is
But
that actually
that
in there?
should prompt lawsuits.
That should prompt more to go. Yes,
And
but
then I believe because of all the differences in the different circuits and the different states, the Supreme Court would probably be more willing to take that up quicker.
well, they already kind of ruled for nationwide constitutional carry with the New York one, the Buren one.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have much of a choice there.
Well, that was pretty much shall issue, right?
Yeah, that's what made every
So
state
the
shall
may
issue.
issue or whatever got taken out to be
Yes.
shall issues, but we'll have to see where
Yeah,
this goes.
shall
And-
issue, but they can try to make it as much of a pain in the
Yeah,
ass
like
as
New
they want.
York's
The
going
same
through
way
their
in that.
social media and stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah, Facebook, that's another one. Like, I get put in jail all the time just because of the name of my store. They have their rules laid out in black and white. All right, blah blah blah. Have to be a brick and mortar. Can't do this. Da 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 da. I follow those to a T. Like I have read them over and over to make sure I don't do anything wrong, but they will still put me in jail. I get a notice every single day. Today I've gotten 3 or 4 of them that says my business does not qualify to be recommended on Facebook. Your page does not qualify. There's not being recommended. Blah blah blah. How is that not discrimination if I'm following their rules? They are a public utility at this point. They're not a private company anymore because there's something with the government, how big they've gotten, and the way that they're presented online. They are now considered a public utility. So tell me how there can be a video game where you can rape a girl as the game, take her clothes off, touch her, blah, 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 and do this and that and kill people, but I can't advertise a bow or a fishing rod because my store name is Firearms and Cerakote. Like, how is that not discrimination, Craig? Like, how can they do that legally and it be okay?
Well, they're liberals. And I mean, it is their platform. So I don't think...
but it's their platform, but as a public utility now. Like,
Yeah, I don't know how all that stipulation works.
I mean, we just have to get platforms that are, 2A friendly.
I don't know why.
well, just unbiased, period.
Like,
Yeah.
why do we not, like, NRA,
Alright.
for example? How many members give them X amount of money every month or every year? Why
So,
can't they, like, promote, like, 5 to 10% of that to go towards, like...
Well, the
So,
NRA is pretty
here's
much-
why the government did it. So I'm not crazy. So the social media is a public utility. It's postulating that social networking sites such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google, Instagram, Tumblr, Snapchat, etc. are essential public services that should be regulated by the government in a manner similar to how electric and phone utilities are typically government regulated. It is based on the notion that social media platforms have monopoly power and broad social influence, which they do. So, I mean,
How are they essential, though? Essential means if you don't get this, you die.
yeah, I mean, what this world considers essential
I think
now.
there's some people out
Okay.
there probably would die without it.
Right, yeah, so like, I mean, as far as that goes, like, I can tell you now, my daughter showed up in my bedroom at, I guess it was like 2 o'clock in the morning.
For TikTok.
Oh my God, Dad, they really took TikTok down. What am I going to do? And I'm like, what? So are we really having this conversation at 2 o'clock in the morning? And I'm not the only one. I had several friends of mine that their kids were just, and adults were on Facebook losing their minds over it. And I'm like, the fact that that's what you people are concerned about. There are 2 different wars going on right now. Airplanes crashing, fires are burning everywhere. People are being raped by illegal immigrants and all that. And you guys have been like, but TikTok gets taken down, and you're ready to freaking burn down the house and storm government buildings. Like, our world is so out of whack. It's unbelievable.
What's going on with the plane crashes? I don't think I want to get on a plane anytime soon.
I
You ever
don't know
notice it
enough about
happens?
the one in Philly, but I know that was a medevac flight.
I was just there. I was
Yeah.
I was 5 miles away from where that happened yesterday.
The one at Reagan should probably never have happened. I can't remember. They said there was so many near misses already.
Wasn't it? I think I saw something. I don't know if it was fake or not or whatnot, but the pilot of the Black Hawk had like anti-Trump stuff on her Facebook page or whatever. Did you see that?
I thought it was a highly decorated soldier.
Okay, maybe it was fake or something I saw. Because the one I saw, it was like the pilot was maybe it was co-pilot or something.
I think he had like over 1,000 hours of flight time. I think the other guy that was training, because he was the instructor, and I think the other guy had like 500 hours.
Huh.
I mean, they were what I would consider seasoned. Like, I don't know how that Black Hawk ended up coming up higher than it was supposed to, but
I saw that. It was too high. Yeah.
so who
I don't
really
understand how that
knows? We'll have
happens.
to wait for.
That's like boat crashes. Like, how does this happen? Like,
Well, I don't think, and I could be wrong, somebody that knows the aircraft, but I don't think that those military helicopters have those crash avoidance systems that talk
but
to
either way,
other commercial flights. Like those talk to one another to like avoid.
yeah, and
like,
then they got traffic
stuff like
control
that.
and stuff. But either way, you're the only thing you can hit up there is oxygen. I mean, there's nothing up there.
I mean, that thing was right in front of the runway.
Was it?
Yeah,
It's
I'm
still
pretty
just-
sure that plane had come in and was making the turn, and its descent down to the runway, and it just came up a little too far, and we hit. That's what it looked like.
Huh. Still 2 and 48 hours. That's a little. Where'd he go?
Yeah, it was a case where they both had a lot of flight time, so I don't really know. I do have a question while he's out, because we're approaching, I think, the hour mark right now. So I have a guy I know that's down there in North Carolina. So he buys firearms, ammo, stockpiles it, and refuses to go get any type of training in. He doesn't want to waste the ammo. So what do you guys feel about that?
It's dumb.
People not training.
Yeah,
I
like-
think it's extremely irresponsible.
Yeah.
So when I'm teaching the class,
You really need my sugar?
yeah, I like my sugar. I'm getting better. I really am.
You're not.
So I mean, I keep a small bag of nerds on the lathe. I got rid of the one at my
That's a
workbench.
problem. That's not getting.
You know, I used to have one on the workbench, the lathe, and up front. And then Miss Susan, who keeps things organized at the store, got these big plastic containers. And she came in one day and just had them filled with all kinds of different things. And my wife flipped out. But yeah, we're talking about training, buddy. So now you're like my doctor. She gave me a 5-minute hell on sugar. But like, you're absolutely right. I think people that don't train, I think that's reckless. I think it's dangerous not to just them, but everybody
Unless you're
around them.
like a straight up collector and you're just buying them to hang on walls and stuff.
But I think he's talking about people that are carrying.
Yeah, like
Does he
this
carry
would be
it?
more in the prepper community. And
Oh,
my
no, I
buddy's
think it's-
primarily a go-between. Like, he just bought an AR, and he was buying rounds for it. And he was buying 55 grain. I think it was a 1-7 twist. And you know, I told him, you know, hey, check out, you know, your 77 grain. That would be
or
a
even-
good option for you to, you know, use. But he doesn't. He had a friend who was going to go get some training, didn't go get it, that I'm aware of. But like, he's not familiar with the manual of arms with that platform. So same thing with pistols. Like, it is a perishable skill, right?
It is
Absolutely.
a perishable skill.
Maybe I go overboard and go up to the range too much, but I would say that people should, if you're going to buy a handgun, at least try to get out to the range
But
times a year, send some rounds
Yeah.
down.
it is a sport too, and I think that's the part of guns that I try to get out there more than anything. I'm trying to take the whole scary, you know, defense, protection. It is, don't get me wrong, but it's also a sport.
It's a baseball bat.
Yeah.
It can be used to play an entertaining sport. It can also be used to defend your life
Correct. Yep,
or commit
exactly.
crime.
But the training aspect of it, like when we're teaching class, we get into this whole argument on red dots. Not an argument so much, but more of a talk. And people that are new into the world or they play a lot of video games, we'll get into that next podcast. We're not going to even start that this time since we're so far in. I have a lot to say about that one. But the red dots, you know, if you don't practice with it, and again, we're in that whole 7-second scenario. Most defense situations.
Yeah.
I mean, you've
I'm
actually
very
run into a
adamant
couple,
with red dots,
but you
but I'm
practice
a
with
very adamant practice. I
Right.
mean, dry fire, empty gun in the house. It's every day. I draw a pistol multiple times.
And the exact thing that I tell people is there are two camps here when I'm discussing this in the class, and I say there's the camp that loves them, that swears by them, that says they're more accurate, they help them, blah blah blah. And then there's the other camp that says they'll get you hurt, they'll get you killed. Well, how's that? Well, if you don't practice with it and you have that thing under your shirt and somebody comes to attack you or carjack you and you try to get it out real quick, that red dot, number one, could get hung up on things if you're not practicing the way that you pull your pistol out. And if you're not checking it, if you're not staying up with it, you don't even know if the battery's dead. And then if you don't have co-witness sights on there, the proper co-witness, what I'm talking about by that is you go by a red dot, you throw it on the gun, boom, I'm done, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to roll. Well, what happens when the battery dies? Well, I use the sights. Well, do you have the proper sights on there? No, the ones that came on, I left them on there and put the red dot on there. I'm like, yeah, no, it don't work
Do
like
you
that.
really need it though? That's the question.
And they fill
Like,
with
Do you
water.
really
5 to
need
7.
what?
You don't need the dot to be active at 5 to 7 yards.
No.
No, you don't.
You
But
don't
it,
even aim at 5 to 7 yards.
Yeah,
I don't aim
right.
anymore.
But in a situation where, like the video I showed, where these guys attacked this man and this woman walking down the street, and it got into where he was shooting at 15, 20 feet, and they were shooting back and forth. If that red dot is dead, and you're just slinging lead out of desperation, I mean, that thing, it's the difference of it going where it's supposed to and going 50 feet away through a house hitting a kid. So if they're not constantly checking that thing to make sure the battery's not dead, practicing with it, is it still on? Did it get knocked off? You know that. So just like any, the practice is
it
everything, I
ultimately,
feel like.
if you practice with them enough, it ultimately makes you a better pistol shooter because the margin for error is so small. It's not a rifle. You don't have 3 points of contact. It's all muscle memory pressing the pistol out. And if you're off, your hands are twisted, you're off at a quarter inch in any direction, you don't see a dot. So over time of practicing with it, like I've noticed after years of carrying them and shooting them a lot, I pick up iron sights and it's just more of a natural, I'm quicker and more accurate with iron sights now. And I'm also quicker and more accurate, not even aiming, doing 5 to 7 yard drills at, low ready, just bringing the muzzle up. Because you're just locking, you're training your muscles to put that pistol in presentation mode more consistently and accurately.
Yeah.
But you have to practice. It's not a rifle that you can set on a bench and just move your head till you line your eye up and shoot it. It takes practice.
Craig's a lot better with a red dot than I am, but I have a really bad stigmatism. I mean, can you use it without your glasses on?
I probably could.
Yeah, see,
Well,
for
I
me,
have that. I don't
That's
have
the
a
nice thing
dominant
about the
eye.
red dot is your vision. Like if you're like at my age or older, where your vision starts to go, like it makes it a lot easier.
but does it
versus
as a
trying to pick
bedside
up
gun.
irons.
You know what I mean? Like,
My bedside's got a red dot.
but I mean, a red dot, or I think a better option for a bedside gun would be a red dot that projects.
A laser.
A laser, correct. I just like to use the project word because I get so many new people that they think an RMR is a laser, and laser's an RMR, blah blah blah. But so yeah, it's just like anything else. I mean, talk to the people at the store if you don't know, watch videos, practice with it. But I feel like if you don't practice and you've got something in your hands that has the potential to kill that easily, I feel like it's very irresponsible.
I mean, in that scenario, you're talking about a prepper with thousands of rounds and 17 guns, and
he's not practicing
he's
at all.
never fired a handgun.
Well, I don't
First
know that
fight,
he's never fired a handgun. He's fired a handgun, but he doesn't go. He
The
buys
first-
a lot of handguns and a lot of ammunition, but doesn't go.
the
Doesn't know how
first
to use
fight,
them.
it's going to malfunction. He's going to stovepipe it, limp wrist it, and he just gave
Yeah,
it-
there could be
just gave
firearms in his collection that just didn't work from the factory.
Yeah, I've
You
never
don't know
understood that.
Yeah.
If you're
it's-
buying the gun strictly to put it in a safe as an investment with the plan to eventually sell it because you know it's going to be worth more,
Or as a collector
that's one
item.
thing. Correct. But if you're buying it as a prepper for defensive purposes and you never use it, you're an idiot.
I mean, personally, I like them people because I have a strong belief at 30 that at some point in my lifetime, a zombie, whatever type of scenario, the world's going to end. I like them guys. Saves me, I can use my ammo to go to the rage. I know there's a lot of people out there who aren't going to put up much of a fight. And they have all this ammo stored
That
up
you'll
that
be
now
able to
I
get
have.
to, yeah. Yeah.
But no, you gotta train.
Yeah.
You gotta
Joe
shoot.
constantly
I don't-
tells my buddy that he's afraid that I'll run out of ammo.
That's always been my mentality of, even in that scenario, I'm walking out the house with 120 rounds. And then your pistol. I'm going to have 3 on my carrier, 1 in the AR, and my pistol and maybe 1 or 2 spare pistol mags. If I need more than that to survive the remainder of my days, something's wrong. I'm picking fights that I shouldn't be in.
That's when reloading comes into play,
Which
you're setting up for.
in the scenario that you're somewhere where you got, middle of nowhere, West Virginia, 50, 60 acres, if someone's 1,000 yards away from your perimeter, why even take the shot? And I think in that scenario, the vast majority of the population is going to diminish in the cities, that by the time you get people to the rural areas or the prepper areas, you're not going to be taking many shots.
Yeah, you said zombie, etc., and if it happens, it's not a matter of if it happens. Eventually, this is happening. The resources are disappearing way too fast. What I think is the closest thing to that I think could happen in our lifetime would be the whole sleeper cells all over the United States. I mean, the threats have been there nonstop now, and it's getting to be more and more and more and more. And now we just let how many of them come in the past 4 years? So they're set up. So anyway, we're starting to get low on the camera. So the one last thing that I did want to bring up here, I just saw the orange thing come up and tell us, is in Maryland, if you are under 21, it has gone through the 5th Circuit that you do not need an HQL. We're still waiting on, Craig knows the legal part of it more than I do, but the next podcast here, we'll bring that up. We've got some other things for the next podcast. We're going to start doing something every podcast called The Biggest Idiot of the Week, or by week. So drop in the comments a video or a link to who you think the biggest idiot is that has to do with anything with 2A or anything related. So I'm going to let Craig tell you the situation with the HQL and the steps that it has to go through, because he is basically an unofficial lawyer, unofficial lawyer.
What are we talking about?
All right, you said that it went through, it's gone through with the 5th Circuit.
It's basically
the next
toast
steps
at this point. There's going to have to be another.
No, not that one. I'm talking about the under 21 being allowed, because I think we're going to win that one. I really do. They have
allowed
to.
to own a pistol?
Well,
Well,
if
no.
it
I mean,
makes
right
it
now
to
you got to be 21 in order to buy a handgun, but it's unconstitutional because at 18, they're considered an adult. Constitution says you can.
Is there only one state that you can do that, like South Dakota or something?
Well, it just went through, and that's
Maryland,
what
I think you can be
I don't
18 if you're in the military.
I don't understand the steps, is what I'm saying. So I know it was in the 5th Circuit, and it went through, it won, and now it's going to the next step in the process. And a lot of professionals out there feel like we're going to win it, which I think,
But they have to take it up, and that's the problem. There's probably thousands of cases before the Supreme Court that they meet every week and decide on whether they're going to take something up or not. So
who decides that? What's the requirements for?
They all get
They
together,
decide
and
that?
I think 4 of them have to agree to take the case. That's how it
well,
works.
that just sounds like it has corruption written all over it.
Yeah,
Well, no, because they could take a case that they don't, to say, okay, we want to get this decision in. It may not be favorable, but they could say, we'll take this up to do this.
How do they get appointed, or are they elected?
The president.
So they're appointed officials by our elected officials.
Lifetime appointments.
That's bullshit.
See what I mean? So,
But right now, I mean,
I'm
But
going
the
to do some
current president-
research.
conservative-leaning judges
The
outnumber.
current president can fire and replace him?
No, but if somebody
The only way that
dies,
they
somebody
lose their-
retires, then whoever the current president is would
Appoints
nominate.
a new one. Okay.
So something else I'd like to start doing with the podcast is the latest and greatest with have a short clip of things that are new that one of us will present, show what's coming out that maybe everybody's not aware of, break it down, tear it apart, put it back together quick, and a few other things. So yeah, we will just build on it from here. And then maybe by the next one we'll come up with a name. If any of you have an idea, let us know. Everything that I've said, everybody said was too mean. So
Too mean.
yeah, Michelle.
I think if we do a few of these and people actually tune in and watch it, then we could probably go to a live stream and just answer questions.
Yeah, I kind of like almost canceled. Not quite canceled. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll put some links at the bottom. If you have any questions, let us know. If you want to see any of the things we're talking about, stop in. And one of the sponsors for today, actually, was DEL Hauling here in Hagerstown. So if you need anything moved, shipped, anything big, the dude has like 40-foot trailers. Give him a call. Again, that's DEL here in Hagerstown. The owner's kind of a prick, but the business is awesome. So anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.